My first role in the building industry was actually in a timber yard because my boyfriend at the time, who I later married, was a cabinet maker, and we travelled up to Port Douglas where he was working on the Mirage Resort prototype condominiums. We started up a cabinet making business after going to the bank and saying, we've got this tax bill, and if we don't manage to make the tax bill money back in time, would you lend it to us? And they said yes. So we set up the cabinet making business in the shed of our local station officer, police station officer, and yeah, about 6 months later set up in our own shed, and about 6 months after that I had my first baby. Just that first home was probably my first idea when I got the biggest passion, because I discovered after doing it that for every dollar you spend in a good renovation you make two, and I mean, what woman doesn't want to go out and spend money and then make money on it?
My experience in the industry has been for about 8 or 9 years now. I did a lot of manual arts through high school, but instead of going straight into a trade, I joined the military first. And after a short stint in there, I did some security, and then while I was doing that, deciding what I wanted to do and be for my future, my mum said, well, think back to high school and what you enjoyed doing the most and were the best at, and do something around that. So I chose a trade and went back to Queensland and started my pre-apprenticeship. I did a pre-vocational at Cassamatis in Ipswich, and then I moved on to become a fully qualified carpenter, studying through the Cassamatis again at Ipswich, and then eventually the Gold Coast TAFE.
As director of the Buildmore Group, I initiated the Buildmore Women into Building Housing Showcase. So that was a house designed, constructed and supplied primarily by women.
I've mainly stuck around renovations. I did do one new home with the Women into Building Buildmore project, and it was wonderful to get to start something from scratch and not peel back a wall and go, oh my God. So yeah, it was a good opportunity to do that, but I still would rather prefer to do renovations, as the different jobs every time, and when you do peel that wall back, you never know what you're going to get.
It was really about embracing the many women who are carving out successful careers, and to promote each of those women as role models for their individual roles or trades or vocations, in order to encourage more women to consider careers within the building and construction industries. So it was a project that lasted about 8 months for the actual product that resulted in the house, which was fantastic as a display home, or as we called it, a showcase, where people can actually come and see the skill and the level of experience that had gone into building it.
Working in the Women into Building project was definitely a different experience. There was not a lot of testosterone flying around the job site in that aspect, but we still all worked together. There was not a lot of gossip, sitting down and talking about our boyfriends and curling our hair type situations. We were there to get a job done, and we did that every day.
The real message behind the project was so much bigger than all of us. It was about women actually stepping up and being like role models, and accepting that they are indeed role models, to then encourage them to go out and speak at schools, at career days for schools, and participate in school try a trade days and events like that, where they really hadn't ever considered that they were capable of that.
We were teaching young women and middle-aged women, believe it or not, how to pick up a hammer and use it. Working in the construction industry doesn't necessarily mean you have to pick up tools and get dirty. You can definitely be in the managerial side of things, the design aspects. There are completely different sides to construction other than being out in the sun every day.
I also was recognised with National Association of Women in Construction for their Crystal Vision Award, which is really the pinnacle for me, the one I really wanted to achieve, because that one revolves around elevating awareness and acceptance of women within those roles.
On every job site I've ever been on, I've always felt a part of the crew and a part of the guys, been invited out for beers after work, and never left out of any job site prank. I like being out in the sun every day, and I'm a very physical person, and I couldn't imagine myself styling someone's hair other than my own when I go out on the weekends.
There's so many different trades that people can get into that they don't even necessarily realise is a trade in its own right.
Who said you weren't allowed to break a nail on site?